you check the children? Show a little match
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Marcia Robert.
And we are here to talk about the first season of Netflix's adaptation of the comic book property, October Faction. Now, I have not read this comic book property. It's one of the few that I never actually dipped my toe into. So I was interested. We did do the trailer reaction, and it looked interesting enough. It looked like kind of a supernatural-esque thing. But when I sat down and watched it, I was actually really surprised at the depth of the show's lore. And so I quite liked that. I thought, so overall, I actually quite enjoyed the show. There were some things that were stupid. Some of the CG effects, especially of the vampires, I was not a fan of. But overall, the story of it and the story of this family was way more engaging than the actual interpersonal relationships of a lot of other shows out there. And it actually evolved and developed, including the bad guy that you think is going to be like the big bad of the whole season. Like evolves, and I was like, wow, that's really impressive storytelling when it comes to these long form shows, you know what I mean? So overall, I gotta say I enjoyed it.
I dug the hell out of it, but there was elements that I didn't like. Creature designs, things like that kind of took me out. I wasn't aware of the property even being a comic book until after I got done watching it and I looked everything up. So I'm actually kind of intrigued in that, and I do want to read those a little bit, see how they are and whatnot. Overall, like, it was, I did like it, but I was still underwhelmed. That's basically where I'm going to leave it on that for now.
Fair.
That is fair. I enjoyed it. I watched it all in, I guess, 2 sittings, technically, which says a lot, because it doesn't happen like that usually, especially in my house. I watched it with Pete, so it made that easier. Overall, I thought they did a really good job. There were some characters who needed some acting lessons, and it was kind of a struggle to get with them. But some of the familiar faces that are familiar to me, I thought were doing a fantastic job. But like you said, like the story and the development of the characters and the lore was good. I was hoping for a little bit of a Monster of the Week, but
it wasn't
didn't
that.
get a Monster of the Week, but here's hoping maybe as we move forward. But some of the revelations and the twists were
kind of blew
cool.
everything up.
And so I thought it was cool.
So the story of it, it's about this couple, really, and their kids. And so the couple are trying to pull off living a normal life after having worked inside an agency for a number of years. And they're trying to, they're sort of on a bit of a sabbatical, but they have only just recently taken the sabbatical. So they still, if they have to get drawn into things, they'll still take care of monsters. They work for this group called Presidio, and they've been monster hunters, but their kids don't know it. And no one knows it. So they just get moved from place to place when there's stuff that needs to be taken down. And we sort of get tossed into this while they're moved to the father's old house.
Back.
Right.
They come back for a funeral.
They come back for a funeral.
For her first dad's,
They come back for the funeral, and they end up getting convinced to stay there, to hunt there for a bit before getting reassigned to a new location. And so while they're there, something happens with their kids that they don't realize. The kids start to kind of manifest weird abilities and things like that. And the kids don't know what's going on since they don't know their parents work for this group or are aware of all of these weird things. So they don't come out with it. And so it's everyone holding secrets from everyone else until they can no longer do so and things get brought to light. And how does that affect everything? And the nice thing is this isn't, again, like your typical show where once those things get brought to light, everything eventually, the genie eventually gets put back in the bottle. That's very much not the case in this. Like everything gets blown up. Relationships get blown up, whole dynamics get blown up, and it's just really a well-crafted story. That's what I gotta say. I mean, the story is what was the best thing for me, so that's why I'm hitting it so hard here.
No, definitely. Like especially like the between like the father and mother and everything, their backstory between his father and everything and his lineage, between this whole Presidio and whatnot, that was cool. And then with the kids figuring out where they actually come from and things like that, and then once they find out what their parents actually do, they're not really insurance salesmen, and it's like that just blows everything out of proportions. And okay, when that happens, I will say, they kind of lost me out on the story with just how the kids were a little overreacting on that.
Yeah, they did turn pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but
they
did rein it back.
They did and everything because they were a little kind of brainwashed and,
trying to
in a
dance
sense.
a little bit around. Spoilers,
Yeah, but like overall, like story and the character development, things like that. Even like the smaller characters, like you have, well, I wouldn't say necessarily she's a smaller character, but the lead for Presidio.
Yeah,
that girl. She didn't have a whole lot of time and everything, but when she was on for screen, like it was effective. You liked to hate her and whatnot, and
you didn't even necessarily know you were supposed to hate her until
that too.
Point.
There was times I'm like,
you gotta watch out for this sneaky one.
Yeah. But no, other than that, I dug the hell out of the story and how basically even it ended.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for season 2.
Yeah, hopefully we get one.
I hope so. I
hope
really
so.
do, and I want more monsters.
Yeah, definitely we need more of those, and not silly CG. Cheap,
And I wasn't
cheap
actually too upset with how they did the werewolf.
Oh yeah.
It was. I was a little disappointed, but it could have been worse. It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
don't like-
vampires were crap.
Yeah, cheek fangs don't work for me.
I thought it was like a bug or something. I didn't realize
they
it
look
was
like mandibles.
Yeah, I didn't
not-
realize
not
it was a
fangs,
vampire
yeah.
until about 4 episodes or more later, and then they were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Story, Marcia.
So I really dug this story, but I agree with you. The teenagers were. They were written really poorly, and I'll say why. Because they were given really shallow depths of character. Because they're like, oh, they're teenagers. We don't have to put a lot of time. And then it felt like they later made a decision, like, oh wait, we want to move them in a certain direction, but now we have to make up for lost time. So now we gotta like all of a sudden like throw all of this at you and make you care and make you think that they're multi-level, and they weren't, and they were just not well developed, and the girl just drove me nuts because she was so horrible. And I get it, like not every teenage girl is gonna be great, but come on, like it was just, she was so whiny and complained all the time, and just like she could stick up for herself, but then choose not to stick up for herself, and she just made really bad decisions all the way around. But I mean, they came back together at the end, but I still don't give a crap about those two kids. I kind of wanted them to die.
Okay.
And save the parents, because the parents are my favorite part.
I'm not.
I mean,
I'm gonna kind of agree with you on that.
It's a good transition into acting anyway. So
Yeah.
go ahead. You felt the same about the kids, pretty much?
Basically, and everything. I was kind of hoping that the story was more focused on the parents personally.
I agree. They were the most interesting part.
They really were.
Well, the foe was also interesting.
Oh yeah. The big bad and everything. I thought, like, you thought this character was going to just wreck things, and she kind of does, but she had a class to it and how she worked, and like it wasn't just straight malicious.
And more depth to her character than we would have.
There was an actual reason why she was doing this, why she was pissed, and why she was actually coming for the company and for the family itself.
So yeah, I mean, were there any other acting standouts? Again, we all love the parents. We weren't the biggest fans of the kids, but
not really. Even I would say the dad, like for what little screen time and everything. I can't remember
father's father.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I've seen him.
He's been in a bunch of
Pontypool
movies,
and things like that, and like he's always great. And then
it's kind of a knockoff Lance Hendrickson.
A little bit, yeah.
The Sergeant Werewolf guy was cool.
Yeah.
I liked his character a lot and everything, because like again we had that backstory with the father and everything, and even his brother.
Oh, that backstory was sad.
Yeah, all the story stuff was really good.
But acting, other than that, was basically a B+.
Yeah. So we already kind of touched on the effects too. I mean, some of it was really good, but the vampires were just
That was
silly
the worst
looking.
part of it.
Yeah, it was just silly. But the rest of the stuff was pretty on point. They're obviously willing to throw budget. I like the design, the production design of the show.
Even the practical, when they showed like the dead soldiers and everything, and you had like the werewolf makeup, that was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't overly done, but it was basically what they do with like Supernatural
Yeah.
and everything in the world was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the set design too of the house. I thought
the
that
house
was
is
really
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
And even with the secret compartments and things like that, and the science lab, science. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That moment when the kids walk in was really good.
That was pretty
And they were
funny.
just like,
oh crap.
well,
We don't
so,
sell insurance, kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the effects wise, it was all good. Sound wise, it was all good. Sound design, good music. You know,
Nothing that
all
really
pretty
stood
standard.
out.
Yeah, not particularly to me
I
either.
mean,
but-
it's a fun like weekend binge,
Yeah.
you know, and it's I think it was kid friendly. I watched it with my kid. It wasn't super inappropriate. There was a little bit of gore, but not enough to like make you like go, oh no, close your eyes.
There's a couple
so.
like sexual themed scenes and everything.
little bit, but
Yeah.
it
other than that, it's
Not
like
overt,
no,
though.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So I would say it would be family friendly. There you go.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our discussion of the first season of October Faction on Netflix. If you guys have given it a try, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Marcia Parker.
And remember, stay scared.